Hello everyone and welcome to a new year here at Mind and Muse Crafts. Welcome to the 2022 series of episodes of the Mind and Muse Crafts podcast.
Toma, vete.
Welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, of course, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming back here every couple of weeks and checking out to see if there is a new podcast available, because I know that YouTube hasn't been the greatest help with all of that. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming by once again to share the crafty side of my life. If you are a new viewer, well, thank you for pressing that play button and for taking the chance with me to see what this is all about. So I am Caroline, your host, and I come here every couple of weeks and I share with you the crafty side of my life, which mostly are those skills that have to do with crochet, with needle felting, and every once in a while some knitting also. So let's get on with it. I hope if you are those that celebrate the end of a year and the beginning of another, I hope that your celebrations have gone well. I hope that you have had some days of peace, tranquility, and reflection, which is always needed when we start a new year. I don't know about you, but as for me, I really enjoy January because, well, I haven't said that if you're new around here, I am from the island of Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, which is tropical. So I am very grateful for the month of January and February also, because at the beginning of the year, those are the days that tend to be the most breezy, that tend to be the most calm, that tend to be the least hot and muggy. And so it is a lot more joyful. You find a lot more pleasure in doing a lot of things, including crafting. So I really enjoy January, even though I have been an educator for over 30 years, and January marks the time of year where we go back to the school room or to the college classroom, wherever it is, at whatever level it is that you teach. And that can be joyful for some and disheartening for others, and I totally understand that. For the most part, I truly believe that I enjoyed also January's, even going back to work. It was a new year. At the college level, you get for the most part, new students taking your courses, and so it's a new opportunity to do well for them, to learn more along with them, and to learn more about how to share what you know with them. So it's January, I always see it as the new opportunities, as a time where you can actually decide, I'm going to make this year different for me. I mean, sure, I guess you can decide that at any point over the year. It doesn't have to be the first day of the year. I'm not one big on resolutions and all that, but I do take those first days of January to sit down and think about, where do I want my life to go this year? And so, I mean, it's true. Sometimes we think about things, changes we would like to make and all, and we don't really put in the effort to do those things during the year. I mean, as the year goes by, and speaking for myself here on the island, as the year gets warmer, you kind of like forget those proposals that you made to yourself at the beginning of the year. So Here's for not forgetting about those proposals. Here's for being able to taking a step back from the daily turmoil of life every once in a while, every so often, and thinking about the direction in which I am taking my life this year. And so that's my wish for you. That's my New Year's wish for you, along with the fact that I wish that we can enjoy more time here on this channel, since for most of us it's the only time that we get to share is this virtual time. But I am very grateful for those of you who join me, grateful for your comments, grateful for what you also share with me. So moving on to that crafty content. Here it is. The first segment of these weekly meetings that I have with you, are bi-weekly actually, meetings or bi-weekly chats, is the section called Walking the Talk. And it is a section where I share with you how I wear the things that I make. So you can see that I am not only a crafter, I also use those things that I craft. I also give life and give a life to those things that I make after they are finished. So here's an example. Here is an outfit that I've worn before, and I purposely purchased this Peter Pan collar blouse. I did want it to have longer sleeves, but I didn't find it. So this top that I am wearing is a crochet top. If you'll remember, it is a design by Crochetcakes, and it is my version of her Summer Breeze top. And I believe this one I called Autumn Blaze. If you could check on my Ravelry, I am still a user of Ravelry. I have just switched the lighting to green, and it's working well for me. So I'm still a user of it. I store all my made projects there with some notes about whatever change I made to them. Mostly, I guess, for my own use, so that I can go back to there every once in a while and see what I did. But also, obviously, it's public, so anybody can go there and see the changes I have made. So I invite you. You can visit my Ravelry page, change the background to the darker tone if you are light sensitive, maybe, and you can check out. This is my Autumn Blaze, and it is following the Summer Breeze top of Clarisabeth of the Crochetcakes channel. It is made with fingering weight cotton held double. This is Knit Picks, and so I've got, I'll tell you about that in a minute, but I believe I made the size 2, but don't take my word on it. Maybe my Ravelry description will say. And I know I had to make it larger because I wasn't getting the same gauge. And this is worked in horizontal rows, right? That are then, the piece is then turned 90 degrees, and so your rows become vertical lines. And so the amount of change you start out with will directly determine, along with your gauge, of course, will directly determine how long the piece is for you. And even though I added a couple of extra stitches, and I believe I used a larger hook than what she used, I still had a problem with it being too cropped. So I added a very large knitted ribbing at the bottom, and I can stand up for a minute and show it to you. See, this is my belly button here, so it would be basically the top of my pants. And so, but I really like it. I really like the way it works. My only wish was that I would have made it slightly, not a lot, because I like the idea that it's a vest, but I would have liked to make it a little bit longer so that I mean, like in the summer, I could wear it without a blouse underneath, and it would still be acceptable for my climate. But it's what it is. I do enjoy, like, I even like seeing it in the closet. I do just like wearing it. I think it's a very pretty, I love the stitch pattern. And all in all, it was a simple project in the sense that the instructions on the pattern guide you accurately and correctly to make each of the parts. And so, yeah, let me invite you, if you would like this type of vest, you could definitely make it in wool if you're from a warmer, a cooler climate at this time of year. And it would definitely be a layering piece, right? So that you could take off your coat and still be warm underneath. This is in worsted weight cotton, as I have said before, and it's still too hot for me to have the vest and this blouse on outside today, even though it is a very breezy day. So, yeah, that's what I'm wearing. And I am wearing handmade earrings by me also. If you've been around for a while, you'll remember these wire earrings. I made a pair for Clarisabeth of the Crochet Cakes podcast, and I also made a pair for myself because I really liked the coiling at the bottom, joined with just regular beading, regular 4mm beads. And so I really like these a lot. They get a lot of use. I actually had wanted to wear a pair of my teardrop earrings, but I haven't made a pair in every color, which is what I want to do. I want to make a pair in every color because I really do like the shape and I like the size. And right now I'm in a phase where I've got really short hair and I plan on keeping it that way. And I really like the big earrings. I don't have to wear necklaces because I'm wearing big earrings. And I think it's nice. I like it. I've gotten used to the crochet earrings that are light, and I like the shape, and I just want to have them in every single color. But I didn't have time because I haven't planned enough. I didn't plan what I was going to wear today in advance so that I could make sure that I had a pair of crochet earrings to go along with my outfit. But that is something that I think that in the near future I can solve. I can actually solve that. They're very easy to make. They are quick makes, those teardrop earrings. And remember that the pattern, you can find it free on my blog, which is at mindandmusecrafts.com. So I was saying before that the lighting here is getting funny because for Christmas I was gifted 2 small spotlights to provide extra lighting for this room when I podcasted. But one of them keeps shutting off. I think there's a problem with it overheating or something because it keeps turning off. And I am in a cool room because it's being temperature controlled at the moment, so I don't understand. And it just started today. I've used these twice before and that didn't happen. But anyway, speaking of some Christmas gifts that are lingering that I wanted to share with you, I have 2. One I'll share now and one I'll share later if I have time. The first one I wanted to share with you was this. I don't remember sharing it with you the last time. I did share with you a series of mug rugs that Clarisabeth made for me. And this was a crochet hook case. And I had requested that she make this one for me because I had purchased a complete set of small hooked crochet hooks from Clover a while back. And so they go from sizes 0.6 to maybe, I think 2.25 is the largest. I think. Not totally sure, but 2.25 is the largest. And then, so they come with these little covers because some of the smaller hooks can be very pointy and that can be dangerous. So they come with those covers. And I was accumulating a lot of small hooks because of the fact that I've been working a lot with Aunt Lydia's yarn or Omega nylon, very thin lace weight yarns. And so I've got 2 more of these that she's made me that for my larger hooks. I have one that goes from, if this one goes to 2.5, that one probably goes from 2.75 up to 4. And then I've got another one that goes from 4.5 up to whatever is the largest hook size. I believe is probably, well, whatever the largest hook size that fits in there, which is probably 15 millimeters. And then it's got a pocket in it. So in that pocket, I tend to put the knitting needles that I use the most, along with the magic loop cable, which is the cable that I always use. So very thankful for this today also, because I really like it. And she knows that I am a big fan of the Peanuts series, the Peanut character series. And specifically, I love Snoopy. And so, yeah, I know that she tries to make me happy in a lot of ways whenever she can. So there's for handmade. We usually try to give each other handmade gifts over on any special occasion, because I think there's more of me inside the gifts I give, and there's more of her inside the gifts she gives to me, because I know it's time that she spent thinking about me, hopefully not in a bad way. If this gave her too much trouble, well, that might change the way we think about the person, but hopefully that was not the case. So that was one gift that I received, a handmade gift that I received over the Christmas season. And let me show you, let's see, finished objects. I know there were some finished objects that I shared with you at the end of last year, because some of them were gifts. But then let me share with you this one that if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen before. This is what I am calling my Snoopy Swanket. My Snoopy Swanket, because it was supposed to be a sweater and almost turned out to be a blanket. So this is it. The last time I shared it with you, Snoopy was completely finished, and I had the neckline, but I was working on the sleeves. So sleeve and cuff on one side, and sleeve and cuff on the other. And so it hasn't been blocked, and so most likely if it is blocked, it will grow, if it could grow anymore. But I put in a video on Instagram early during the year, because since Clarisabeth was here, I was able to do like a photo shoot with Snoop by wearing the Snoopy Swanket. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I'll share it with you. And if you did get a chance to see it, please be patient. I'm sorry, but these are large makes that you really just want to enjoy the victory, and you really just want to enjoy the outcome. And so I'll share it one more time. I promise, the last time here on this podcast. I might share it again on Instagram, because I might have a chance coming up soon to actually wear this out in the real world. And so, yes. Remember, the back was done with single crochet, because this started out with one plan, and then I changed the plan as I went on with it. So I started out using as reference the pattern of the Monarch sweater, which is done in single crochet. And then after doing the back panel, when I went to the front, as I've shared with you before, I didn't think that the single crochet was covering up enough my yarn, and that was probably just totally incorrect. But it's how I felt, and so I changed to half doubles, and that made it a swanket. I had to add at the back because I had to add about 15 rows at the back in order for it to be basically the same size as the front. But I really like the collar also. It says front post, back post, alternating. And so hopefully I'll be able to share this with you out in the real world. So the last time that I was here, I had mentioned that I would weigh it for you. So this weighs 2.4 pounds, which I believe here it's telling me that that is 1,089 grams. So it's got 1,089 grams of cotton acrylic for the most part. And so, I don't know. That sounds to me like a lot. So this was Scheepjes, and it was held double, and all the rest is acrylic yarn. Different brands of acrylic yarn. It's got some feels like butta, and then it's got some basic, both from LionBrands. And I absolutely love the way it came out, mostly because it was a work of love. So, you know, it's got its defects, but even though it's still something that I am going to take pride and joy in wearing whenever I get the opportunity. So there's a finished object that, although I had shared it on other forms of social media, I hadn't shared it here on the channel, and I just wanted to bring it back for that brief moment so that in case anybody is new around here, they also had the chance of seeing it. I didn't write up any type of pattern for the sweater. I think that I'm going to write up a blog post on my blog just mentioning, you know, what size I am, my measurements, how many stitches I did for the back, how many rows I did for the back, how many stitches I did across the front. And I could also include the graph of that Snoopy from Stitch Fiddle. But it can be turned into cushions, it could be turned into a blanket, it could be turned into anything. Actually, you just have to know how many stitches you're going to add to each side before you start the chart, how many rows you'll add to the top or to the bottom to make whatever it is that you want to make. And I think having the graph might save somebody some work. So yeah, the graph or maybe even the instructions, because the instructions worked out fine. The thing is that with color work, you always want to have, if you have the written instructions, you always want to have a chart for follow-up. Because sometimes the written instructions won't feel right based on what you're looking at. And so you want to reference the chart to make sure that you are positioned where you should be. And catch that early in case you have to rip back because you skipped a stitch or counted incorrectly. But like I say, I do know that the chart itself alone has the difficulty that you have to count. And yeah, that's prone to error also, especially if they're small charts. So yeah, I think that would be useful to somebody. I can't promise when I'll get around to that, but I am thinking that during the upcoming months, I might have that opportunity to do that. So yeah. I did finish, well, half finish another item that you're seeing here. And these were the socks that I was supposed to gift to my son for this Christmas, and that I told you on the last podcast that Amazon helped me out there by getting a gift to him in time for Christmas to replace this. I'm not even sure this is going to fit him. So that's why I also decided that I was going to send something else, because yeah, you can see that they look pretty good on the sock blocker, and the sock blocker is supposed to be a medium. So, but his foot is quite longer. Well, not that much. My foot is 9.75 and his is a 10.25. So there is extra room here at the point, and the heel here is like farther up on the round here than it should be. So I'm hoping that that extra space will be enough for him. If not, well, I'll have to wear them myself, and they are quite big on me. They are quite big on me. So the reason that I wanted to present this, I mean, it's just a sock, and it's one of those vanilla socks where I did no particular type of stitch pattern. I didn't even maybe create it myself. I used the normal wedge toe to begin with, and then it's just knit, 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 knit all the way up to heel. I do a German short row heel with the instructions from the Sockmatician, and then it is knit, 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 and then I did 15 rows of 2x2, 2 knits and 2 purls. Of course, you probably all know that. So there's nothing special about it. There are tons of people doing fabulous podcasts where they have beautiful socks. For me, what I like the most is the choice of yarn. If you'll notice, I've got the little blue stub on the toe, and then it works all the way up in such a way that the heel was almost completely made in this blue, which was a good thing because I didn't have to switch to a different color, to a coordinating color. And then it worked so that the cuff was in again in the same blue. So, guys, I think that worked up beautifully. I think that worked up very nicely. I'm very happy of the way this sock looks. It totally calms my need to have symmetry. And so I think the sock turned out pretty well. And I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that the second sock will turn out as well and in less time than it took me to make this. I was actually like at a bad place, probably about here, when Clarisabeth came home for Christmas, because I had started the gutter and the stitches were not looking right. They weren't looking neat and pretty. So I tried to rip back a couple of rows, and a whole bunch of stitches fell off, and I just got frustrated and I just left it. So when Clarisabeth came, I asked her practically the day before she left, would you do me the favor and pick up these, put the needle back on this sock for me? And she did. And she did. And so I was able to complete it thanks to her help in overcoming frustration. She put them back on the needle for me, and so it was, straightforward all the way from there. I did have another moment's weakness when I was finishing the cuff, because it had never happened to me. I always use that Judy stretchy cast off from, well, I don't know, I got it from YouTube, but it had never happened to me that a cast off was so tight that I couldn't get the sock on. Never happened to me before. So I had to rip it back, and that was another frustration, but it went a little bit better than when I was back here. I just tried to stay calm and think, they're only stitches, they're only stitches, they're only stitches. And so I got it back on and was able to complete it by following Sheena's Stretchy Bind Off Without Flare on YouTube. That's Sheena's Stretchy Sock Bind Off Without Flare. And she taught me that if I You know, you have to, when you're binding off, you knit the first two and then bring one over the other to cast off those two from the right hand needle. And she said that for the second stitch, instead of knitting and casting off, you should yarn over, knit, and then cast off both the yarn over and the knit stitch. And so every other stitch, instead of just knitting the stitch and then casting it off, you should yarn over, knit, and then cast off both of those. And it did turn out to be quite stretchy. Compared to what I was getting, it was stretchy enough. It's still kind of tight, but that's obviously due to my gauge. Because I haven't found a 2.5 millimeter magic loop hook that I want. 2.5 millimeter magic loop needle that I want to purchase because they're expensive, let's face it. And if I'm only going to be making 1 or 2 socks a year, I think I would rather learn how to loosen my gauge for the socks than to purchase another set of needles. I usually buy 2 because that way I can start them both at the same time. But I didn't do that this time because I had 2 socks. I had another sock already cast on. But anyway, I did still get the hole that I have complained about that I always get. So I haven't been able yet to fix that. But the idea of using this self-patterning yarn and the way that it has worked out brilliantly did give me the advantage that I only had 1 yarn at the end to weave in. So only 1 end to weave in at the end. So that was a very good thing. I'll tell you, I am a self-patterning yarn user from now on. Anytime I can get it, that's the way I'm going to go. So, enough talk about a sock. I don't even have the second one started yet. Enough talk about a sock for those of you out there that are knitters and very competent at doing it. But anyway, I did want to mention that I am hoping to take this sock to my son as a late Christmas gift because I have a date. I am traveling out to see my son and my grandson the 30th of January, the 30th of this month. So I hope to take it, I hope to finish the other sock in less than 2 weeks and be able to take it to him. If not, well, it's a small project to carry, so I'll be able to take it and work on it over there and make sure it fits. So that is for my very grateful experience with the sock yarn. If you're new around here and I haven't mentioned, this is a style craft, head over heels boho yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 400 meters or 437 yards. And they give you a picture of what it's supposed to look like, which is exactly what you saw it looked like on my sock. And so I'm sold, Stylecraft. I really do. Like, this was a gift from Catherine of Crafternoon Treats a while back, so I am very thankful for her having sent this to me. I have enjoyed up to now. And whatever I haven't enjoyed in this project is not due to the yarn itself. Although the dark blue it's not easy to work with at night. You really got to work with it during the day or in a very bright light. So cool. I really did like that. I'm very impressed and I do like it a lot. And oh, did I say that that was 75% superwash merino? It's just superwash wool, which is a good thing because it means that it's not only merino. And I'm hoping that they'll be warmer because socks that are where the wool blend is only merino don't tend to be very warm when you actually need them to be warm. So I'm hoping this will be a bit warmer. Okay, so that is a project I have been working on. The third project I've been working on that I want to mention to you is a needle felting project. And you'll remember that I did show it on my last podcast. I did show the beginnings of it. This is a project that I am creating thanks to the help of Udemy, which is an online service for courses, for registering courses. And so the course I am taking is called Make a Realistic, Adorable Needle Felt Schnauzer. I know her name, the name of the felter. She's a felt artist, the lady that directs the course, and her name is Sophie Jane Wheatley. Sophie Jane Wheatley, she is a professional needle felt artist. And so it is a 10-hour course. It is divided into 45 small segments, and I believe I am on like segment 20 because every segment is really detailed, and so it's just not easy to move on quickly because you need to watch it first, then watch it like 10 times more while you're working, which means work, stop, work, stop. So it's taken me a long time. Yes, I am on 20 where we are dealing with the details of the face, which has been my anxiety all through this project because I'm so afraid that I am going to mess it up on the face. But I just wanted to show you the Schnauzer that they recreate in the course. That's the Schnauzer that she is recreating, which is a bit different from the Schnauzer that I am trying to recreate. I am trying to recreate my daughter's pet Schnauzer, my oldest daughter's pet Schnauzer. I'll see if I can bring her up for you. And she is a salt and pepper Schnauzer. She is a salt and pepper Schnauzer. My daughter's been really busy and really hasn't been able to send me good pictures. So there's a difference, right, between the dog that I'm trying to create and the dog that they are creating. Her name is Hennessy. Hennessy is salt and pepper, which means that she's got white, grays, blacks, probably a bit harder than the Schnauzer that they are creating for the post. But anyway, I'm giving it a go. I know that I might not be able to get it to look exactly like Hennessy because of my inexperience, but I am going to try. I'm a little bit embarrassed to show you what I've done so far because she looks like a werewolf to me. But, okay, I'll defend myself. The reason that she's going to look the way she looks right now is because I am in the initial phase of adding facial hair and to the head also. And you'll notice that there is a point where these hairs, I can put it this way, I guess. That was better. Where these hairs are pretty long, right? Around, I think this is a winter picture, so she wasn't well groomed. She is usually more groomed than that. But in the winter, they let the hair grow out a little bit so that she's warmer. But notice how long the hairs are here in this area. Okay? Notice how long the hairs are there. So in my defense, I haven't gotten to that part. I've probably gotten just up to here. You'll see hairs around the bottom here, but it's only because I wanted to get the feeling of a Schnauzer. They're most likely going to be ripped off and redone in the correct manner. And so, I love this dog so much. I've told you the story of how my daughter purchased her while she was already planning to leave to do her PhD in Indiana, Purdue. And so I was totally against the purchase because I knew that you're buying a dog so that the dog is going to be alone all day. You're not going to be there, and you're starting a new life. And well, I had a lot of complaints and issues about having her, but she left it behind for a semester. I took care of it on the weekends. She was at my mother's house during the week, and my brother would care for her. I took care of her on the weekends when I went to visit my mother. And I just I fell so in love with her. I felt so sorry for her because she had been left behind, and I figured in her little brain she didn't know where my daughter was, and it was just tragedy for me. It was just tragedy. I think I cried more the day my daughter left to the university the day before she was going to leave for Indiana, because I guess thinking about the poor dog left behind than actually her leaving, because she had already left. She had studied her first 4 years of her bachelor's degree in the United States, came back to do her master's degree, and then so, I really felt it for the dog. I really felt it for the dog. So I would like very much to be able to replicate her, but I don't think I have enough experience to actually make that happen. Sorry, Hennessy, I'm doing the best I can. But anyway, with a bit shy and a bit shameful, I will share with you what I've worked on up to now. Okay, so this is what I've worked on up to now. Remember that I've only reached this part. So she's missing all the long hairs that are darker, that are dark hairs that come down this way and come down this way. And this is a false beard that I only stuck on so that I could get the Schnauzer feeling, but that's going to be ripped back so that I can do it the right way. So I don't think that I have completed the eyebrows. Notice that Hennessy has very fluffy eyebrows. And the ears have to be repositioned because I believe I put them too far over and too far down. They have to be more towards the top so that they can fold over like that. So they need to be repositioned. But you can do that type of thing in needle felting. And then the eyes are simply at the current moment, they are marked in black. The eyes are just currently marked in black so that I know where they go later on. But I'm actually going to put in glass eyes. I'm actually going to put in glass eyes. And so the coloring here that she's missing will be an important feature to make her look like her. And then obviously all the fur that goes on the body. I didn't put a tail on her. The tail went first because the tail in this tutorial has a long tail. A lot of Schnauzers go through the surgery where they snip off their tails and they even snip their ears at the beginning when they're born. Supposedly because their tails are too long, get in the way and it's painful. I don't know. But anyway, her tail was snipped, but her ears were not. So her ears don't stand up like this. Her ears flap over. And so I'm feeling right now that the ears need to be longer. That can be fixed also. But I have faith. I have faith that if I continue following the instructions little by little, she needs more whiter hairs along here. But that's another point, is that the gray that I had is not Hennessy's gray. I did mix it. It's not a pure gray. I did mix it with white, but I think it needs more white and less gray. But that can be done. I can stick in little hair plugs and in between here, and it'll start looking whiter. Yeah, I should have realized that the challenge was going to be to get her color because it's such a mix of color, and I don't really have that much. I really don't have that much batting. I thought I had what for me was a lot, but when I realized how many ounces you really need, because you have to put a lot of hair on this thing. So hopefully I can improve my coloring as the time goes by. If not, my daughter will have to be satisfied with a sculpture of a Schnauzer, not necessarily her Schnauzer. And so That's my Schnauzer, guys. Sorry, it didn't. It's just very time consuming because you want the way that you saw it, it might look the same, but a lot more wool has been added to make the shoulders broader, to make the snout longer, to make the backhand also longer. And so a lot of wool has been added to it. It's just got the same, you've added the wool, but trying to keep the same shape. So that's my needle felting project, which is taking a lot longer than what I thought it would take, because ignorance is bliss, guys. Ignorance is bliss. So these are my plans for what's upcoming, right? I plan on trying to keep up with you guys here every 15th and 30th of every month. Now, that might be altered, like say the 14th and the 28th, because there are some months that don't have 30 days in them, as we know. But that's my plan, like every bi-weekly, but on a specific day of the month, so that you can expect me on a specific date. That you know every 14th or every 28th or every 15th or every 30th, however I work it out, I'll be here. The thing about it is that that plan was a good plan until 2 days ago when I bought my ticket to go to New Hampshire. Because my visit to New Hampshire is going to be a pretty long one. My son is waiting to make a move to a new house. Excuse me. I do have some water over here. I'm going to take a water break. So he's going to be moving to a new place, to a new home, a new job and everything. And he requested way back before the baby was born if I would accompany them, because they are traveling by car from New Hampshire to north to Alabama because of the baby's condition, right? He was born, if you're new around here, you know he was born micro preemie, which means he was weighing 1 pound. Thankfully, he is growing and he is now up to 8 pounds. He is now at home. But he is still receiving oxygen support because his lungs have not yet gotten to the stage where they can work 100% on their own. So in the meantime, while they make the move, they do need someone to help them during the day because they both work. And they now need to work so that they can purchase equipment, the formula, and all the things, the special things that he needs to continue his development. So I am not going to be working outside the home. I am a math teacher by profession, as I have said many times, a math professor at the University of Puerto Rico in Arecibo, to say the complete name. And I have requested a semester off from the job so that I can go and help them with their move. But since it's unsure when, because he takes a step forward and then a step back and he's going back and forth like this, since it's unsure when he will be moving, then I am going at the moment for 1 month, and then my son's mother-in-law, my daughter-in-law's mother, will go down for another month, and we will keep switching until the move occurs. So I need to make a plan as to what things I can take with me, what projects I can take with me, how much yarn I can take with me. And I'm thinking small projects, pick them out, and so that I can continue to work as the days go by. And I can do some updating on my blog. That will be easy enough. And I just need to sit down and really think about how this crafting is going to continue. I don't believe that I can take Hennessy, the sculpture, with me. So I do believe that I need to finish her before I leave so that I can send her out. Or take her with me, because we will be stopping by my daughter's home on the way to Alabama. Whatever I decide to do, well, based on how much of this I can get done. So the year is afoot. As one of my favorite literary characters, Sherlock Holmes, would say. And it is going to be a challenge. I have accepted that challenge, and I'm going to accept it with a heart full of gratitude because my grandson was born and he has been able to begin his development slowly but surely towards becoming a child who is not dependent on all this technology that has surrounded him since day one. And so, yes, with a heart full of gratitude, I make this move, and I am going to embrace this challenge with lots of love. So, in saying that, let me mention another gift that I received from Clarisabeth for this Christmas, which was this journal. The journal is called The Simple Abundance Journal of Gratitude, and again by Sarah Ban Brethnack. She continues on to 150 often overlooked blessings. And it's an interesting read because you go through them many times, maybe a week, a day, a month. And so as you create this journal, she gives you this reference so that if you think, oh, there's absolutely nothing I can be thankful for today, you can just go back and read these descriptions and find one small reason to be grateful each day. And then, for every month, she creates a quote to kind of like inspire you throughout the month. And then every week, she gives you another quote so that you can continue with this inspiration of gratitude. For January, the quote says, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow." And so, although I have not yet begun to fill in these pages, it's a generic calendar. So whatever the day I decide to start doesn't matter because I continue it all year long and circle around to those days that I missed at the beginning of the year during the next year. So I am very thankful to Clarisabeth for offering me this gift of love, because I know that as I fill out the pages with the reasons for my gratitude, I also will love the life I am living. I also will adopt this life-affirming attitude, being grateful for the things I have and being grateful for the opportunities that I have to make myself happy along the way. So I would like to leave you with that small thought. I would like to wish you peace, tranquility, gratitude, and happiness during the upcoming days until we meet again. Keep yourself healthy, keep yourself safe, and keep crafting. Bye for now.